Hi, Peter again, and I would like to introduce a very special guest to the Miami Children's Museum family, Mr. Gerald Hausman. He is a storyteller who has gathered tales from all over the world and would like to share one of his own stories in celebration of Native American Month. This one is about a chipmunk.
This story is called How Chipmunk Got Tiny Feet. Once, Chipmunk worked all day long as Gila Monster's watchman. His job was to make sure no one came around to steal anything out of Gila Monster's garden. But although Chipmunk was a pretty good watchman most of the time, some of the time, he liked to fill his pouches with Gila Monster's corn so that he looked like this. One day, Gila Monster noticed that his corn stalks were looking kind of thin. He did not know that Chipmunk had many cousins of the mountain squirrel clan, and that all of them had been visiting him. Each one was given a gift of cornmeal. "This is my present to you from Gila Monster's garden," Chipmunk said to each of his cousins. "Are you sure we may take this?" they asked. The squirrels were afraid of Gila Monster, and rightly so, for he was known to be secretive and not very friendly, and he had many powers. The squirrels had also heard about Gila Monster's bad temper. He got mad at anything that went wrong. But Chipmunk assured everyone that they could have the cornmeal and that he was best friends with Gila Monster. But for some time now, Gila Monster had suspected that Chipmunk was stealing from his garden. "Tell me," he said gruffly to Messenger Fly, who went around going, "Tell me if you ever see Chipmunk making off with any of my corn." One day, Messenger Fly showed up at Gila Monster's cave. "You will be very angry when you hear what I have seen," he said with his wings buzzing. "Do not play any games with me," Gila Monster said. "Just say what you have to say." Messenger Fly told the big lizard all about Chipmunk's cousins, and the big lizard got angry. "Chipmunk steals very much, and he gives it away to his mountain squirrel cousins." "Summon him then," Gila Monster hissed. Messenger Fly delivered the message promptly. "You better come now," Messenger Fly warned. "Gila Monster thinks you're a thief." Chipmunk was feeling lazy that day. He did not wish to be bothered. The next day he was warned again, and the day after that, and the day after that. And when 4 days had gone by, Gila Monster himself came to Chipmunk's house. Gila Monster rapped 4 times on Chipmunk's door with an old root cane. "Come outside, Chipmunk," he growled. "I would have a word with you." Chipmunk was oh so warm and cozy in his bed. "I can't come to the door," he called. "I'm too snug in bed." Gila Monster banged 4 more times on Chipmunk's door. Boom, 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 boom. The door blew open, and a gust of wind hit Chipmunk in the face. Gila Monster walked in. He was shaking with rage. "You have broken my command," he rasped, all red and black in the face. "Now, little thief, what have you to say for yourself?" "Oh, please let me sleep," Chipmunk said. "I was up all night with my mountain squirrel cousins." "I will teach you to steal my corn," Gila Monster said. He blew 4 times on his root cane, and Chipmunk shrank to the size of a little tiny ant. He was so small you could hardly see him. Gila Monster went back to his cave and thought no more of it. Chipmunk, though, was sorry for what he'd done, yet he was even more sorry for being so small and insignificant. His lodge was too large for him, so he moved into a nutshell, and even that was too big. Some days passed during which Chipmunk was lonely. Nobody came to visit him. "Oh, whatever will I do?" he cried. "No one even knows I'm here. My cousins don't visit me anymore, and I'm so little I can't find any clothes to wear, and I wrap myself in a leaf, but it's still too big for me." "Little Chipmunk," said a voice, "I see where you are." It was a warm, kind voice. Yes, it was Mother Earth. "It is so cold when you're small," Chipmunk said, and he began to cry. "Don't cry," Mother Earth said. "You know it is because you are so far from the sun that you're cold." "Oh, what can I do?" Chipmunk asked. "You must go to Gila Monster and tell him you will never steal from his garden again. Maybe then he will free you from the magic spell you're in." Chipmunk thought this was good advice, and he journeyed to Gila Monster's cave. It took him a long time to get there because he was so small and he took such tiny little steps. But finally he came to the great lizard's doorway. "Do not step on me, Gila Monster," he hollered. "It is I, your poor little watchman, Chipmunk." Gila Monster opened his door and squinted his eyes. "Ah, I see you there," he said. "Ha ha 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 ha! A little bit of nothing that thinks it has a voice." "Oh, please set me free from your spell," Chipmunk pleaded. "And what will you do for me?" the big lizard said. "I promise not to steal from you anymore." "That isn't enough," Gila Monster said. "Well, then I've brought you here in this little leather bag a grain of golden pollen as a present." Gila Monster blinked. After a time he replied, "I suppose it's good, little one. You've come to apologize and you've come to make up for what you did. And you have brought me a special gift of golden pollen." Then Gila Monster banged his root cane 4 times and the earth trembled. Chipmunk held onto a pebble to keep from being knocked down. After this, Gila Monster blew a breath at the sun and at the earth and in the 4 directions. And then he blew on Chipmunk too. As soon as the big lizard blew his breaths, Chipmunk began growing. And he grew, and he grew, and soon he was just the way he'd always been before. But now he tottered and fell. His feet wouldn't hold him up. "Oh, my poor feet," Chipmunk wailed. "They're so small." "And they shall remain so," Gila Monster said. "That way you'll remember your promise and you won't steal again from me or from anyone else." "I promise I'll never steal again," Chipmunk vowed. "Just fix my feet." "All right," Gila Monster said. "I will restore you." And then the big lizard went back into his cave. Chipmunk wobbled home on his little feet, but even so, he was glad to be who he was. He didn't care about his feet being littler than before. just so long as the rest of him was the right size, and it was. And he never stole corn again from Gila Monster's garden. But to this day, all chipmunks, as you well know, have tiny little feet.
Thanks, Gerald. I don't know what I like better, your chipmunk voice or your scary Gila monster voice. Anyway, thanks for listening, and come back soon for some more interesting stories from the Miami Children's Museum.